Hello. So here I'm back with another video. And in this video I'm just gonna be talking over a recording that I've already done and just talking about like practicing and trying to improve my artwork. The previous video was it really wasn't a clickbait. I actually was like kind of in that being in that low where I was like really doing a bad job making good art. And then I was just like, okay, you know what? Now that is out of the way, I'm just gonna actually make good art or at least practice to make good art or make it better. So the first thing, one of the very first things and like the most important lessons and most I guess art lessons, if you're studying on your own or if you're studying at some art school, you learn how to do sketches and you learn how to do thumbnails. That's basically something that I personally do enjoy making. So I just thought like, yeah, why not? Let's just record that stuff. So yeah, so there I am, just making thumbnails and like making like some basic stuff. Just like looking at photographs of environments and making thumbnails out of them. Trying to understand how to improve in my values and my compositions, all the stuff that will help me improve in my artwork. So one of the most simple techniques that I personally learned was like just dividing your foreground, midground, and background into like three major values, which could go from dark to light or in any order that you want to place it in, and then coming up with like a secondary tone of color, or in this case a tone of value, which is, you could say, lighter than the darkest but will be darker than the gray that is going to be in the next layer. So in this case, like my foreground is like super dark and then I have a gray that is being used along with it, but that gray is like darker than the value of the gray that's there in the midtone, and so on and so forth. So basically it's like using three colors and then adding three more, and that's a total of 6, and just coming up with like a good thumbnail just with those three, just with those combination of colors, values in this case. So yeah, that's one of the cool techniques that I've learned, and I really thought I should practice it more so that I can improve in my compositions, overall getting better in coloring. Coloring is a whole other hurdle that I often face, sometimes unable to decide what color palette I should go for and all that stuff. So yeah, I just like think about it, and then I'm like, okay, you know what, I think I'll just refer to things online. Sorry. So that's one of the ways you could get better at like improving your artwork. Sorry, I don't know why I'm coughing. But yeah, there's another one. This one was kind of hard because it has the brightest values in the midground, which is that sunlight. I know this photograph is like edited, definitely, but I was like, yeah, why not? Like, let's try to pull the values out of this one. So I had a little bit of a to and fro on these, and I was just like, okay, maybe I should just focus on how I can create this piece. And I think I did like a not so great job, but I was pretty satisfied with what I came out with at the end. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe it was fine, I'll do better next time. But like, I could do the best I could come up with at this point. You know, probably like show it to a senior artist and, you know, ask for their feedback and then come out with, you know, then understand, oh, that's how you can do it better. So yeah, that's basically how I started my value studies, and I've been going on with it. Although there are just a few pieces that I've recorded, the rest are like kind of work in progress because I kind of sketch every day. And yeah, coming up with new designs, coming up with other stuff. I'm like, other than my day job, which is also art, it feels nice to be able to like do these kind of sketches in my free time and be able to come up with like, you know, come up with, oh, you could say like improve in my art process altogether. So yeah, this is basically me coming out of that shell and recovering from that self-doubt and telling myself I can still do better. So it's really been helpful that way. Other than that, I think I'm gonna intend to do more sketches for the rest of this year. That's probably the only goal for 25. Just doing sketches, nothing else. But I will have a few illustrations completed at some point. Personal illustrations, not work. Work illustrations always get completed, that's a different story. But like personal illustrations, yeah, I do plan to finish them. I got some, like, I don't know, lately I've been on like a very strong interest in playing KOF, and I like King of Fighters. King of Fighters 13 is one of my favorite games because of the art style, and it's still a 2D game and all that. And it's beautiful, you know, with the animations and everything. So I was like, oh yeah, what if like, I don't know, it just made me want to draw all those characters in that game. Like, so kudos to like SNK with always having like amazing characters in their games. So other than that, here I was doing like a value check. So I decided to paint in color, and I was like, okay, what if I like straight up paint in color and try to understand how my values are going to sit in. So one of the best ways to do this is do a value check. Like, always have a layer that can like switch the image to black and white, and then you just keep double checking whether you're doing them correctly or not. Although I was playing around, I wanted like to include a little bit of more blues on those rocks rather than just having those grays, which is there in the image. And yeah, I don't know, I can clearly tell this photograph is also like kind of photo edited, because I've never seen the sky light up like that. So I was just like, I guess for me it was, I didn't realize it until I was halfway in the painting, and I was like, wait a minute, this is edited. So I was like, never mind, I'll just try to replicate that, see how it goes, you know. So overall the values were still pretty okay of the photograph, so I was not worried. So I was like, yeah, let's go for it. And that's basically how I started painting this one. And it turned out pretty okay. Actually, it turned out better than the previous one. I felt the previous one was a lot harder to do than this piece. So I was like pretty content with like, oh, okay, this piece isn't that hard. It's coming out pretty decent. So yeah, that was like a good way of like getting good at my thumbnail studies, and I think I've done one more for this specific video, because I've just basically, I did like, it took me like an hour to get to just, yeah, I kind of spent an hour working on these. I'm not like the fastest painter, so like, don't expect me to do like like a huge number of thumbnails in like a short span of time. But still, an hour was pretty good, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty content with like being able to do this in an hour. So yeah, again, like double checking the values and then painting, trying to paint this in black and white. In this case, in this one specifically, I actually wanted to use the levels channel to convert it into color. So I wanted to paint the whole thing in black and white first, and then like convert it into color to see how I can like set that up. So yeah, it's the same thing, same process. Take 3 colors, or one for midground, one for foreground, one for background, and then add your other tones of values into them, which is like a pretty easy thing to do, to be honest. So yeah, so after painting, like, so this one was, I think, simpler than the previous two, and I was just like, it's just got a lot of elements because it's like a city, and you know, a city has a lot of buildings and it has a lot of people. But other than that, there was nothing to, the lighting and all was not that crazy, so it was pretty easy to replicate this, or at least create a thumbnail sketch out of this. So yeah, I didn't struggle with this one a lot. I was just like, oh yeah, I can do this. Although the bicycle was like, was very silly. But yeah, this one was pretty easy. And then I like actually, oh there you go, like I actually did the tone and did that. That's pretty much it, I guess. That was how I painted the whole piece. And this is how I've been studying with my environment piece, helping myself to improve in my artwork, which has been very, very beneficial to me. And I've been having fun. So yeah, I guess without any further ado, I should call it. That's about it. Peace.